Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who has been creating espresso machines by hand in Florence, Italy since 1927. Personally, over the decades of coffee that I've been a part of, have always loved working on a La Marzocco espresso machine. It is the quintessential cornerstone of specialty coffee, really. Quality, dependability, beauty, innovation. Innovative machines like the KB90 espresso machine, the latest one that has the straight-in locking portafilter technology for ergonomics, scales in the drip tray for accuracy of extraction, and also the auto flush feature in the group heads to keep things clean effortlessly with also greater workflow efficiency. It's just one example of many different kinds of machines that La Marzocco makes to fit your cafe's needs. And all you need to do is reach out to info@lamarzocousa.com, and one of their salespeople will help you get the espresso machine of your dreams that's right for your cafe. So if you're scaling up to another cafe and want to improve your machines, or you're opening for the first time and not want to start the right way, La Marzocco is the way to go. Check them out over at lamarzocousa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly, who is creating custom branded mobile apps for coffee shops, for independent entrepreneurs like yourself who are wanting to offer their customers something that is not only convenient, but is custom to their brand, so that the customer is looking at their phone and they see your coffee shop when they want that convenience of mobile ordering. Now, as a mobile ordering system, Espressly integrates with Square, one of the most trusted point-of-sale brands in the world. And on top of that, it integrates with Square loyalty programs, a centralized loyalty program for each of your coffee shops. You get to earn and redeem points either in the mobile app or in person. And it drives repeat orders from customers as they are encouraged to earn points that they can redeem for free items and discounts. Fully customizable in Square for how points are earned and redeemed. And again, Espressly's mobile app integrates into this system, and it's just another way that Espressly is serving you with something that serves your customer amazingly. So if you're interested in having Espressly start on your mobile app, go ahead and reach out to them today over at espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today we're going to be talking about a topic that I usually end up referring to often with clients when I'm talking with somebody about potentially working with Keys to the Shop consulting, or I'm on site at a customer's shop. One of the things in the analogies that I draw for them is like, I want to know what's behind the fridge. And this, of course, if you work in coffee, is to say that, well, sometimes we assume that things are clean and we look around the cafe or our work is done, but we know behind the fridge or behind the trash can that never gets moved because we're emptying the liner all the time, but not the can itself. You know, the parts of the business that are established, in this case, the physical form of a refrigerator or a ice machine or a piece of inconvenient furniture that just doesn't get moved because, we got better things to do. And I don't know if you're like me, but over my years of working in coffee, I've become quite detail-oriented in terms of the bar. And maybe this is an impediment or it's a blessing, but if I'm on bar, I cannot work on a dirty bar. You invite me behind the bar, one of the first things I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start cleaning. I'm going to start, my eyes look across I'm like 90 degrees, clean, folded. I want everything just right. And, I'm not taking time away from customers' beverages to do it, but over the course of the next hour, the way that bar looks is going to transform because I am going to chip away. I've got a little subconscious mental list of things that need to get done. And not only things that I can see, but things that I know are lurking. What's behind the fridge? And the reason why I think that way is because I want to know that the integrity of my work is intact. Integrity has to do not just about what's on the surface. It has to do with what's beneath the surface. It has to do with the structural integrity. So buildings that collapse because of poor workmanship, because people wanted to go super fast, they were under pressure, they didn't pay attention to the math, or they hired people that are known for being fast but sloppy, they don't double check work and that kind of thing. There's lots of beautiful buildings that are created quickly, but they don't have as much integrity as their beauty would suggest. We in specialty coffee, especially in the more beautiful bars out there, first of all, we are distracted. We are distracted by aesthetics. We are really focusing on the beauty of the space and also relying on the quality of the coffee. Okay. So we have really amazing coffee. We have really amazing facades on the front of our bars and that kind of thing. And at the same time, the structure, and I'm not talking about the physical structure, like the 2x4s you use underneath the concrete or quartz countertop. I'm talking about the organizational structure. I'm talking about the thought that you've put into values or how they actually work out in the bar and who it is you hire and why they're the right fit for the business and the menu and how you're actually going to execute it, the processes, the life and culture of the business. These are the structural elements that create integrity in the business that allows me to sleep at night as a leader of people. I want to know that they can count on the ship being able to still float so that we can focus on where we're going. Okay. And if we can't count on that, then everybody feels a little bit uneasy all the time. And this is what you feel when you walk into a coffee bar oftentimes, is everyone feels just a little uneasy. And it could be that you've accumulated multiple areas of lack of integrity in the structure that is keeping this thing afloat. So poor workflow, bad tools, culture that is led by passive aggressive and frazzled leadership, whether from the owner or the manager. It all kind of comes together into this, soup of chaos that makes us feel weak and powerless. And so what we do is we deny it. We deny that anything is behind the fridge. We just spend time polishing the exterior, the front of it. Maybe even sometimes we get into the fridge and we clean the inside a little bit. But we don't want to pull it out because we know intuitively that behind there is like $16 worth of quarters and a bunch of lids and maybe some organic material and some organisms maybe. And we'd rather pretend that those things don't exist until they become a problem, until we've got an infestation or it becomes something that starts to smell. Certainly I have been there where because we didn't take the time to do the inconvenient work of pulling these things out, making sure they're good, we suffer the consequence down the line and have to deal with it anyway. Only it's a lot worse now. So the idea of pulling out the fridge here is that, especially if you're just starting out, make sure that you're building into your operations this idea of we need to embrace pulling out the fridge, so to speak. We need to embrace the idea that we will be able to dazzle people with detail if we can better trust in the foundation and integrity of the thing that we are creating upon. I don't want to have to worry that my paintbrush is going to push through the canvas. I trust in the integrity of the canvas. And that's not by accident that that thing is there as a platform on which I can paint. And so if we don't do that with our businesses, if we don't provide structural integrity of operational values and communication and care and systems that back up the way that we approach hospitality and our vision every day in salient ways, in ways that are street level, practical, real work based ways, then all we're doing is we're building on a shaky foundation and essentially living in denial. The best thing for you to do right now, if you know that there's something that has been neglected for a long time, and up until this point that you have said, well, maybe it'll work itself out, is to lean firmly in that direction. Embrace it. Embrace it, and it will not be pleasant. I guarantee it. It may be a little bit humbling to do, but once you do it and you start to make a habit of directing your gaze upon the substructure of your business that before it just seemed like too intimidating to handle, then you're going to start to see a little bit more peace of mind in your own self, in the way that you look at service. You know that when you tell somebody what to do and how to do it, and you manage and you lead, and you even give people the opportunity to co-create with you this thing, that they're doing so on a platform that is sturdy because it has been cared for, and it even has been built that way from the beginning. And I've said this many times, and I want to mention it again, that as a leader, your craft and your art is the people. And the people need clarity and structure. They need the integrity of the business to be intact. They are the ones making the coffee, and you're the one helping to make sure everything continues to run. That is your art. And you dial it in, just like people dial in an espresso. You're dialing in people, you're dialing in the resources, the clarity, the communication, and you are making sure that we are not avoiding the pulling out of the fridge, so to speak. When it comes to any of those areas, there's always one aspect that feels that way, and that's precisely the place that we need to focus our attention, so that all the other things that we love doing, the latte art, the facades, the coffee flights, and all the other magic that we make on the surface, we can feel good knowing that through and through, this thing has integrity because we've pulled out the fridge. We know what's there. So I hope that makes sense to you. It is really something that drives me, not only as a barista, but as somebody who is working with coffee shop owners and leaders to create wonderful experiences for customers. It's so important. So I hope that it lands well with you today. And that's it for today's show. If you have any questions, email me, please, chris@keystotheshop.com. That's also where you can reach out for Keys to the Shop consulting and coaching if you want to work one-on-one with me to help work through some of these things, whether they are problems or opportunities that you need some clarity and guidance on. I'm here to help. chris@keystotheshop.com. Thanks, everybody, so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. And as always, I'll see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.